Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mass Retirees Weekly Update. Today's Friday, December 2nd. I'm Sean Duhamel. Thank you so much for joining with us and tuning in again this week. I've got a lot to cover, but before I jump into the news of the week and some of the things that we have going on throughout the month of December, let me first just say I hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. I know that I certainly did. It was wonderful to get together with my family last week. So I hope that you had an enjoyable time as well. It was also good to recharge my batteries over the past weekend. As I said at the outset, we're expecting a very busy month coming up, so we're going to get right to it. The other thing I wanted to say is simply thank you to those of you who have very promptly renewed your membership with us for 2023. The month of November is the traditional start of our dues renewal, our membership renewal for the coming year. So in this case, the membership renewal for 2023, it's now underway. Those of you who have been members of Mass Retirees prior to 2014, your dues renew at the end of every year in November. Members who have joined us more recently after 2014, your dues or your membership renews upon your anniversary date of when you joined. So things are kind of staggered throughout the year, but more than half, well over half of our membership renews every November. So I just want to say again, thank you. As CEO of the association, it really helps me on a personal note in terms of our planning and our budgeting to be able to anticipate what things look like for the coming year. So thank you. Thank you, thank you. I deeply appreciate the support of our membership. Now, in terms of what we're working on right now, and again, there's a lot. First and foremost, I hope by now you have either received and opened and read an email that came from our association president, Frank Valeri, late yesterday afternoon. And by yesterday, I'm referring to Thursday, just yesterday, depending on when you're going to be watching this. But it is a call to action to all retirees who are impacted by the Social Security windfall elimination provision. As you know, this is an issue that we have been working on here at Mass Retirees for a very long time. Retiree organizations and public employee unions throughout the country have been working with us and together for a very long time, trying to find a solution to both WEP and GPO. Now, in a perfect world, we would love to see WEP and GPO fully repealed, and there is legislation that would do that, H.R. 82. However, as we have continued to explain, we do not believe that there is a viable or realistic path forward for H.R. 82 or any other legislation that would fully repeal WEP and GPO to be passed through both houses of Congress, through the House and through the Senate, and then signed by President Biden. The votes in the U.S. Senate to do something like that just simply do not exist. However, we firmly believe that there is a realistic path forward for reforming the windfall elimination provision. Now, there are two bills right now pending before the House of Representatives that would reform the WEP. One has been filed by Congressman Richard Neal, who, of course, is our congressman from here in Massachusetts, from the 1st Congressional District. He's from Springfield. He's the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee. He has one proposal to reform the WEP. The other proposal has been filed by Texas Congressman Kevin Brady, who is the ranking Republican member of Ways and Means. Now, Congressman Neal and Congressman Brady, despite being from different parties, get along, they work well together, they have for a great deal of time. However, there are some slight differences between their two bills and some disagreement amongst them and their staff, as well as both of their caucuses, in terms of the fine details of what a WEP reform bill would look like, how it would function, and most importantly, how it would be funded going forward in the future. Because don't forget, if we're successful in reforming or repealing these laws, there's a cost to that. And that money to pay for those new benefits that would come as a result of, in this case, reform, have to come from someplace. Now, we believe that there are fair and realistic and viable options in terms of how to pay for these things. Most of these costs really don't come to fruition for another 20, 30, 40 years out in the future, or even longer than that, which is a really long amount of time. And the fact of the matter is that we have here in Massachusetts roughly 85,000 Massachusetts citizens who right now are being harmed by the WEP. That number grows every single day as new people retire. Nationally, there are now over 2 million public retirees in the United States that are harmed by the windfall elimination provision. And again, that number grows each and every day. So we have about 4 weeks to help bring together Congressman Neal and Congressman Brady and work out a compromise over these fine details of what a WEP reform bill would look like and get it through the legislative process in a very short amount of time. Now, thankfully, there are some vehicles available. If we can get them to agree, there are vehicles available that they could insert the legislation into as a rider, as an outside section, as we refer to it here in Massachusetts, and get it through both the House and the Senate and onto President Biden's desk. But the first step in that process is getting Neal and Brady to come together in an agreement of what this deal is going to look like, and then we can get it over into the U.S. Senate. But we need a pathway to in an open-minded Congress who are willing to sit down, reach across the aisle in a bipartisan fashion, and come to an agreement. And again, we have about 4 weeks to do so. So as Frank explained in his call to action message yesterday, we are asking our members starting this coming Monday, December 5th, to either call or email your local member of Congress. Each of us has our own local member of the U.S. House of Representatives. Call that individual, email that individual, and call or email our 2 U.S. senators. So here in Massachusetts, our 2 U.S. senators are Senator Elizabeth Warren and Senator Ed Markey. So there are really three people that each one of us needs to contact: the 2 U.S. senators and your local U.S. representative. And in Frank's message, which was emailed to all of our members, and it's also on our website, massretirees.com, we are providing some talking points of specifically what we're asking for. But in a nutshell, we are asking that everyone make WEP reform a priority to get it done in 2022 and urge Congressman Neal and Congressman Brady to come together, find a way to compromise to get this done. Because if things come to an end at the end of this month and there's no deal, Congressman Brady's retiring, Congressman Neal will not be chairman of Ways and Means any longer, and all bets are off as to what the outlook's going to look like in 2023 and beyond to have any realistic possibility of getting this done. So the time to act is now, and we're going to make every possible effort that we can to get a deal done, and we need your help to get there. Now, in the meantime, here in Massachusetts, there's also a lot going on. We are working right now with the Treasurer's Office, with the Public Employee Retirement Administration Commission, with the Baker administration, with the incoming Healy administration, as well as the legislative leadership, to put together a plan, hopefully, to increase the state and teacher COLA base starting in FY24, which kicks off on July 1st of next year. Right now, the state and teachers' pension funding schedules are being revalued, and they will be readopted this coming spring as part of the budget process. And we are making every effort to include a COLA increase for state and teacher retirees as part of that process. If you're a local retiree, you should know that your local COLA base is determined by the retirement system that you're a member of, as well as your local legislative body. So it is strictly a local issue for municipal retirees. But for retired teachers, other than the city of Boston, and state retirees, everything flows through the legislature and the state government. So in addition to the COLA base, we're also working to create a senior COLA law to allow not only state and teacher retirees, but also local retirees who have been retired for 15 or 20 years or longer and were career public employees when you were working. A senior COLA law would allow for an additional COLA benefit to be paid on top of the annual COLA that's been paid ever since 1998. So that's what we're working on in terms of the COLA. But we're also very much engaged on the health insurance front. as you know, we have been following very closely the activities and the announcements and the decisions being made by the state's Group Insurance Commission regarding the procurement process for FY24. Back in October, the GIC announced which health insurance plans they had selected for the coming year. This month, on December 15th, Thursday, December 15th, the GIC will announce its decision for pharmaceutical benefits management and those vendors going forward. So that's going to be a big announcement that day that will have a profound impact on retirees for at least the next 3 years and potentially the next 5 years. At the same time, we're also monitoring developments in regard to plan design, health insurance premium increases that may be coming next year. So between now and the beginning of March, there's going to be a lot of health insurance activity, a lot of meetings. So we are very much part of that process, and we will let all of our members know of any breaking news as it occurs. So just keep close attention to these weekly messages that come out every Friday morning, as well as anything else we may release in the interim regarding your health insurance. And one last point regarding health insurance, and I have to thank our friends and our colleagues from Unicare, which of course is the provider of the state GIC optional Medicare extension plan that roughly 75 to 80,000 retirees belong to. This past week, Unicare launched a new section of their website that explains the differences between the OME plan versus the Medicare Advantage plans that you may be seeing advertised on TV and on the radio, and receiving these direct mail solicitations and sometimes even phone calls from vendors trying to entice retirees to switch out of your public retiree health insurance onto one of these private Medicare Advantage plans. Now, we have been swamped with calls from members in recent weeks, over the last actually couple of months, with the deadline coming up on December 7th to make this change into Medicare Advantage. Unicare and Blue Cross and the other insurance companies have been receiving those same types of calls and questions. So in response to that, Unicare launched this section of their website to explain side by side the differences. They're also sending out a letter to all of their enrollees who are enrolled in the OME plan, explaining this to you and cautioning members that you should not be enticed to switch plans. And that's our message to you. The health insurance benefits that you have available to you as a public retiree from either the state or the city or town that you retired from are far superior to anything you can purchase on your own, whether it's through one of these ads or some other solicitation from the private sector. You get what you pay for, so to speak. And even though you may look at some of these fringe benefits and add-ons and promises of low premiums and so forth as an enticement to try to get you to join, because that's what it is, it's a sales pitch. What we are asking our members to do is just be very cautious in what decisions you're making, and we really caution you not to drop out of or switch out of your public retiree health insurance in favor of something else. In most cases, it will be a profound mistake, and we really caution you not to do that. So again, I want to say thank you to David Morales and his team at Unicare for taking these steps to help educate and protect our membership. It just goes a long way, and again, thank you for that. In the meantime, I'm going to log off for this week, and we're now at the 14-minute mark. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for your membership of Mass Retirees. If you have any questions or comments, please reach out. But we will be back to you again next Friday with a new update. Take care, everybody.